Hello everyone. Today's game is between Alexei Shirov with the white pieces and Robert Hubner with the black pieces. This game took place in 1992. So, for those of you who don't know, Robert Hubner was a former um, world championship challenger at one point. So he was a very strong grandmaster, and I believe at one time he was Germany's number one player. And at the time this game was played, Alexei Shirov was an upper-coming superstar on the chess scene. Very aggressive and uncompromising style. Um, um, Basically, Tao uh, copy at this age. I mean, Shirov was playing very bold and imaginative chess at this time. So this game is pretty interesting. Hubner plays the Queen's Gambit accepted, and Shirov goes for one of the sharpest lines and just playing e4, e5. Other moves that can be played also are knight f6 and knight c6 as well as c5. But e5 is pretty much the main line. Knight f3. Of course, white does not capture that pawn. Bishop b4 check. And also another line too is e takes d4 and then just bishop c4. Again, not capturing the pawn here. Bishop b4 check is played. Knight c3. E takes d4. Knight takes d4. And now Hubner plays the enterprising queen e7, threatening to take the pawn with check. Um, Again, a player like myself, I already become suspicious because I do not like the early queen movement in the game. Now, I know chess is a concrete game, and it sounds a little bit old school and rigid, right? Because you're sticking to certain rules, right? And not really considering, the specifics or concrete nature of the position. But I think that will save you many losses by following principles, and they're there for a reason. Because we are not computers. We think, and we need shortcuts to help guide us in these positions sometimes. So I'm already suspicious when I see the queen come to e7. Although I must admit I don't see any immediate refutation. Knight e7 seems more respectable and was played uh, actually between Boreev and Ivanchek. And this was their position after about 11 moves. And black has a solid structure. White has the two bishops with the compromised pawn structure. Hubner played queen e7 here with this direct threat. And after bishop takes c4, well, queen takes e4. And this is right up Shirov's alley. Notice the lead in development he has here. So the question is what to do about this check. Oh, he simply just plays king f1. On bishop e3 here, there's a couple of moves possible. Um, Bishop takes c3, of course, compromising the pawn structure. Knight g6, bishop c1, of course, exposing the queen. And this right here is good for black, excuse me, good for white because of his lead in development. King f1 was played, and this keeps the pieces on the board, and white also protects his g2 pawn at the same time. Bishop takes c3, and b takes c3. Now it seems like it's really amateurish play just to give up the bishop like that and basically relinquish his development like that. But his idea is to play bishop e6 here and basically just continue to trade down and show and argue that he's just a pawn up and that white does not have enough compensation. Shirov plays a very powerful queen a4 check. Knight c6 from Hubner. c6 would just fall to knight takes e6, f takes e6, and bishop a3, and the rook is on its way into the game soon. Of course, b5, just simply bishop takes b5. The queen is hanging, so, and now white is much better as he's gotten his pawn back, has the two bishops, and better pawn structure. If bishop d7 in the position, simply queen b3 with the old school double threat on f7 and b7. Again, if knight d7, knight takes e6 is okay. F takes e6 again. But instead of knight takes e6 here, also powerful is the move bishop g5. And keeping this idea out of black's head for a little longer. And of course, f6 can't be played because of the simple knight takes e6 or even bishop takes e6. So knight c6 was played in the game after queen a4 check. And there's bishop g5. Bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, and now knight e7. And it seems like Hubner was trying to solve his problems with development by simply trading off as rapidly as possible. So even though he's behind in development, because every time he brought a piece out, he was simply trading it off. It seems that if black had a few more moves, that he possibly could win his argument that white is just a pawn down without compensation. However, Shirov keeps the initiative. The queen takes c4. If black tries to, continue his rant of trading pieces, if knight takes d4, then the powerful rook e1 kind of closes the deal here. So he plays this move, knight c e7, which deals with this idea of rook e1 at least pinning and winning the queen. Right? You can't stop rook e1, but at least the queen is not lost. If the other knight is played, then it spells a disaster right here. Either bishop takes e7, knight takes e7. Rook e1 is great for white, practically winning. But even stronger is to play the rook right away. And so the queen has to move somewhere, let's say to g6, attacking the bishop. And now you exploit the fact that this guy is pinned now, and you just simply play knight takes here. Of course, the knight can't capture. And any kind of, for instance, b takes c6, this rook is going to capture here. So let's say queen takes g5, but then the problem is rook takes again, because the knight is protecting the rook. This is why Hubner had to play the knight on the c file back, e7. So now rook e1, queen to g6, attacking the bishop, and now just simply h4. And I love the way Shirov plays here. All his moves are very economical, right? As he protects the bishop, right? He maintains the powerful post of the bishop, and at the same time, he deals with the issue of development of his last piece. Now this rook on the h file, once dormant, His great potential now on the third rank. King f8. And this shows that, of course, things have horribly uh, gone wrong for black. And it just goes to show you the limitations in the position right now. If he plays the move c6 here, again, rook h3 is possible. Or even simply moves like queen b4 is possible. Bishop takes e7 can be played. Knight takes, followed again by rook h3. Queen c5 is more obvious, but I like the idea of getting the other piece in the game. And let's say queen f6 and knight f5 again. So king f8 was played. Again, if rook d8, queen c7 is very strong. Or again, rook h3. So black really is limited here. So queen c7 was played. Queen takes c7, and now you have this triple threat on e7, f6, and rook h3. Brilliant move by Shirov. Again, like I said at the beginning, played in the spirit of Tao. He's like, go ahead, take the bishop. The idea here is if f takes, if f takes g5 here, of course the rook, destroys the black king. Rook f3 check, king f8, and then simply knight f5 again, pressuring the e7 knight to death. Other alternative, knight f6, loses immediately. Queen takes e7 check, queen takes b7, h takes g5. Only an engine will try to continue to play on. So after f6, rook h3, what did Hubner do? Well, he bailed out. It's hard for me to call this move a blunder, but that's exactly what he did, and immediately resigned after queen d3 checked. Only thing I can think in my mind is that, of course, he was getting battered around, and he just wanted to get out of this game. That's one reason that comes to mind. The other reason for making this move is that he just was not used to this rook being on h3. He didn't adjust to it yet. The rook had been on h1 and been dormant for so long that when it finally did get up here, that his brain just did not recognize it. After all, there was so many other threats in the position and violence happening around his king. I think he just lost focus and he went for this check real quick, and then realized that rook takes d3 will just end the misery. So part of me thinks he overlooked it, and the other part of me thinks he just wanted to get out of the game, but that was like a spite check. Because we do that sometimes, especially in blitz games. We're just like, we're so frustrated, we just do a spite check. It's like the chess player's way of cursing at someone. So anyway, that is it for this game between Alexei Shirov, a young Alexei Shirov, 2655 at the time in 1992 at the Dortmund tournament, and with the black pieces, an ignominious ending by Robert Hubner. And I hope you enjoyed that. And again, appreciate the attacking moves and attacking style of the young Alexei Shirov. Please check my links below. Please donate to my channel. It would be greatly appreciated. And also check the links down low for DVDs and or books related to the opening that you saw on the board. And today, it's the Queen's Gambit accepted. So I'll see you guys soon on the next video.